In today's video, I'm going to be showing you exactly how to make an offer on a property in less than 10 minutes. And this is actually a fix and flip deal. This was actually one I was very close to making an offer on because it's kind of near where I live, and it was a really good deal. So, and this was actually listed on the MLS. You can see it's still under contract. And if this thing sells for what I think it's going to sell, like in the next 3 to 4 months, I'm going to be kicking myself. So it's listed at $350. It had a few offers on it, so I know it's going to sell a bit above that. 1,500 square foot condo. And what was interesting about this, they said major rehab needed. And there's no photos of it, so usually that's the case. However, it's not always the case. When I went to this property, there was like some junk, there was like some bed frames and some trash and stuff like that. But it was just in original condition. If someone just painted the place and junked it out, they could probably resell it for a ton. So I'm going to show you exactly the numbers and how to evaluate deals like this. The very first thing we're going to do is pull up the comps. So it's a condo, so we want to find other 2-bedroom comps, ideally at 1,500 square feet, if not pretty close to that, because with condos, like price per square foot is actually a big deal. Single family house is a little bit less so, but just 100 square foot on a condo can actually make a pretty big difference in terms of pricing. And this is a big condo, 1,500 square feet. So I am going to pull up all the large 2-bedroom condos that's sold in the same subdivision in Fairlington, because you want to keep it to the same subdivision. And because this condo is kind of unusually large, I typically only go back like 6 months, but I'm going to go back a little bit longer just because I don't think there was too many of these ones that sold. Most of the ones that sell in that neighborhood are like, I think 1,000 square feet. So 2 bed, 2 baths, going back this far. And the opposite is true too. If I get like 20 results from this type of condo, we're going to do the similar square footage. We'll do like 1,200 to like 1,800 square feet because I don't want all the smaller units popping up. But if I did get like 20 results, then I might only go back like 3 months or 4 months or, that type of thing. All right. So this is not even the same subdivision. So we have a couple different properties to work with here. So that should be good. We have 3 sold. The red means they were sold. The 2 green ones means it was under contract. Click on results. So what we want to do is we want to get an after renovated value. That's the first step in running a 10-minute offer. And it doesn't have to be exact because I'll show you in a second here. But we want to have a good idea of what these sell for renovated. All right, so this is 1,286, a little bit smaller. This is 1,500, 1,322, 1,400, and then 1,500. So we'll get a pretty good idea. It's not going to be and we could go back like 8 months and whatnot, but I think this should be fine. And you also want to make sure that they're the same style because some of these are like 3 levels. This one I think is this one's a 2 level, so this is a pretty good comp. This one is a 2 level. This one also has a patio though. The one I'm looking at doesn't. So like an appraiser, when they look at it, they're going to like an end unit, they might add 10,000 or take away 10,000 if it's not an end unit. A patio, they might, this might be like a $10,000, feature. So keep that in mind as well. So here's another one. And so these are actually pretty renovated, which is good because this one's going to be renovated. So yeah, this nicely like full renovation. So, and that one's active, hasn't sold. These ones both sold basically at $575. And this one sold at $575. Perfect. So we need to make our property look like this. So we can kind of tell just like straight off the bat that these renovations of around this same size are probably going to sell for $575. Now, what I usually do is I'll do like a price per square foot basis if we want to be exact, because condos, it's more specific. So we'll do like, this one's the exact same square footage, but it has that little back area. But I'm going to get like a median square footage of the renovated one. So 575 divided by 1,500. So that's about 383 per square foot for a renovated one. This one's 575 divided by 1,322. It's about 434 per square foot. And then this one's 575 divided by 1,400. Equals about 410 per square foot. So we can probably say it's going to sell for about 410, pretty conservatively per square foot, because the good thing about this one, although it doesn't have the backyard, it actually has, it's a top floor unit, and it just has like nice tall, it's an end unit and it's top floor. So those are two things that that buyers look for. So if we do 410 per square foot times 1,500, that gets us to 615,000. Now, it might sell for 615,000, but conservatively, I'm probably just going to go with these numbers because they're just, maybe we can say 585. We can take a look at this one. This one's nicely renovated. But, I don't want to get too crazy because this one already sold renovated for 575. So, we could say, we'll say 585 is the after renovated value. And it's quite possible it could sell over 600. But we are going to take that number and then we multiply it times 0.7. This is the formula. This is the 10-minute formula. So step one, find the after renovated value. In this case, we'll say 585 to be conservative. Then we multiply that number times 0.7, and that gives us enough margin of safety for repairs, profit, things that can come up, that type of thing. So 585 times 0.7, that brings us to 409. Now, a renovation like this, we got to renovate 2 bathrooms, a kitchen, refinish the floors, paint. We're probably easily looking at about 40, 50, maybe as high as 60,000. So you take after renovated value, times it by 0.7, and then subtract for cost of repairs. So let's say 50,000. So that brings us down to 360 for our asking price. And if you buy it at this formula, you're buying a really freaking good deal. And it doesn't always have to be exact and match up with those numbers, because I back in the day, I passed up on a lot of great deals because I was like too conservative. So when we run those numbers, it says that 360 would be a good deal. Now, I know that this property had offers, I think, right above 400. So you're saying, well, 400, that's not even close to being a good deal. Well, if you get it anywhere in the ballpark of the 70% formula, the next step to do is to bring out the deal analyzer. And I have a deal analyzer on my website that you can download for free. And especially with condos, because there's like a little bit less risk because there's not as much to do. There's no basements and things like that. So what we want to do, if it's anywhere near the ballpark, like you can pay sometimes 80% of the ARV and it'd still be a good deal. You just have to, it depends on the risk. So we'll put in 585 as the ARV. And then right here, we'll put in repairs. We'll put in 50,000. Might need more, might need a little bit less. We'll put in 50,000. And then we got to plug in the numbers. So I think this one had offers around 400. So I'm going to see the most that I could pay for it while still being conservative and still being a good deal for me. Because a deal like this, I'm willing to make a little bit less money because it's a condo and there's less things that can happen. So even me paying 400 at 50K, 71K net profit, that's really good for a condo. So you know what? I could probably pay even more. I could probably pay like 425 for this. And look, I'm still making 44,000. And that's kind of getting into the range where, maybe you don't want to do the deal, because what if this sells for like 565 and then maybe your repairs, you're over budget and it's like 65K in renovations, and then you just spent, several months and you make like 20K. But I'm willing to, because it's not some massive project, I'm willing to be a little bit riskier. And usually a lot of people will say whatever you put into the project in terms of repairs is like the net profit that you want to make. That's a good way of like kind of also being conservative. So I'm interested to see what this property sells for like 6 to 12 months down the road. Somebody put it in the comment section below. Someone look it up for me, please. Because I wish I would have bought this deal. And that's how you make an offer in basically 10 minutes. That's how you can tell if it's a good deal. And, if you have any questions, drop them in the comment section below, and definitely download my deal analyzer. See ya.